What were you feeling in the moments before the bulls started running?
All right, so there are two different ways to do this or to do that. You can do it after you wake up and have a coffee or whatever your preferred morning drink is, and then you walk there and then you do it. Or you can continue partying and doing it, which is what I did the first time and the first few times.
So
So,
you were partying the night before, and the party just kept going, and then you ended up
exactly.
running with the bulls.
Which is what happens with most people will do that. So San Fermin, the festival, the party it's pretty big, and there's people coming from all over the world to participate and to have some fun. So the bars tend to stay open a lot longer than they would be during the normal regular year. So they might be open up until 6:30 a.m. And then you basically continue just because at that point it's easy to continue, I guess, if you're still up. So most runners, I don't know if it's most, but many runners end up in the run, in the trail, or in the streets where the run happen. Will end up after a whole night of partying. And that's exactly what I did for most of my runs when I was young. Um,
So so
yes.
the night before, did you leave the house and start bar hopping in the traditional mozos uniform, or?
Yeah, and that's the uniform. The uniform we put it on July 6th, and basically, I mean, you have different clothes. Of course, it's not always the same, but you have several repetitions of the same uniform. So you use them for an entire week or 9 days. So you're always dressing white, which actually is not it's not a very old tradition. It happened several decades ago, but for some reason, it became popular. And so now, if you go to Pamplona during those days, most Pamplona people will dress white and red. So that's what we do. And so, yeah, I mean, you just go out with your friends or whoever during the day. Most of the times that continues through the night because it's really fun. And that continues through the morning after you have churros maybe and hot chocolate. And then at around 6:30 or so, then you start, yeah, so I might run today. So then you start walking to the streets where the runs where the runs happen, and then you have to wait for a little bit because the police tends to block the streets, and so you have to get there in time in order to run that day. And then you wait there for about, I don't know, half hour or so, maybe longer, depending where you are in the run. And then they'll shoot a couple of uh, you know uh, firework type rockets, to make the sound to make you aware that at 8 a.m. the bulls will be released. So the first or the last 20, 30 minutes of that delay or that wait, well, you can either not really knowing where you are if you're a little, if you're having way too much fun, or you start to get really, really worried because, there's a bunch of bulls that are going to start running where you are, and they're all going in the same direction. So those 20, 30 minutes are a little, you tend to get nervous basically, and you will see people stretching because it's a run and you sprint. You have to be more or less mentally and physically ready to do it. And then, yeah, and then the bulls are released and you're on your own basically against rules and a bunch of people. Yeah.
I always assumed this was more something that people trained for. Do you run faster than the bulls?
Which is
But to
true.
you, it sounds like your experience it was a lot more spontaneous than that.
Oh, completely. But that's not I mean, I have friends or people that I know well in Pamplona. My dad has had friends that done it for a long time. We all know people in Pamplona, and not only from Pamplona, from elsewhere within the region and Spain that train for this. That they really are. I mean, they're not professional because no one is paying them, but they act as professionals. So they train for these runs, and those don't party. They just go home, they'll sleep, they'll wake up, they'll grab their coffee, and that's it. That's a good way to do it. Okay, that's a way that you should do it because you're basically facing massive bulls, so you should be prepared and you should be rested and you should train for it. And many runners do that. But the reality is that many others don't. And if it's very, very common to basically see people partying and then in an hour or so see them in the run.
How dangerous
Yeah.
is it? Because I always assumed it was not a safe event, but that was
I
before I
mean,
realized alcohol was involved.
alcohol. Okay, so there's a little bit of a legal empty space there because you're not supposed to be under the influence when you're running, and the police will take you out if they see that you are too drunk or. But that.
So you partied responsibly before running.
But it is very difficult for the police to control everybody. So they mostly focus on those that are carrying cameras or something that is big. That's not legal, and they cannot take you out of the run. You can harm someone with a camera, so you cannot do that. Although you every now and then you'll see it.